Hi, Courtney, Miko. Tell us where we are.
We're at Henson Studios, which actually used to be A&M, which actually used to be United Artists, which was built by my great half or full uncle, Douglas, son of Ezekiel Ullman Fairbanks, and Mary Pickford, and Charlie Chaplin. And it was this was the first studio that artists owned. And it completely went to fucking hell. And then it was A&M forever and ever, and now it's Henson, and they have Kermit outside. Like, they're kind of trying to turn Kermit, the Henson family is trying to turn Kermit into sort of a Mickey figure.
But inside here, the album is almost done.
Ish. I mean, that shouldn't say Courtney Love. It should say whole, because it's a whole record. And Melissa's going to be here in a few days, if we remember Melissa off tomorrow. Melissa is going to sing, and then we have some cello coming. Either there's a quartet of cellists called Apocalyptica that I really love, and then there's this guy that played on Unplugged, Eric, and he plays. It's very ocean rainy, whatever. But the record's gone from being, an aspiration of blood on the tracks to. Then I heard Diamond Dogs recently, and I was like. I mean, the guitar wasn't as fat and fabulous, and the guitar and the drums weren't. I mean, it's huge. It's like a big fist-shaped hole, and getting through this last business of it is really hard because there's no guide vocals on this record. This is the first record I think in the history of time with no guide vocals on it.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's weird. No, it was weird though. We got to hear isolated guitar off Exile of Main Street the other night. It was like being in the fucking Vatican. It was so insane. Like Don, the producer who's doing all these outtakes from Exile, like turned up Keith's guitar in 1970, Nell Cote, like, and you hear this like just sort of, and then you hear it's awesome. It's like it was religious.
We've heard some stuff tonight, and the rock Courtney is back.
The rock Courtney didn't really go away, but I needed a rock partner, so I have my rock partner now.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah, you know it. So I am old enough to be his cool auntie, but that's the way it goes.
Tell us what you said. You said to me about him before.
But this one. Well, there's these old roadies around sometimes. You know, they never say nothing, and they're very, very quiet. And when they do speak, you kind of listen because it's very, just like the film community, it's a very small community. And I once threw the monitor guy for Madonna. I threw a shoe at him, and ooh, God, did that bite me on the ass. So you gotta behave because you won't get the A-list crew and whatnot. Anyway. On two occasions now, one occasion was unsolicited, one occasion was, I said, so what do you think of Miko? To one guy who speaks about 3 times a year, he goes, best guitar player I've ever heard. I'm like, yeah, but remembering Saxondale, nothing to do with the person who plays Saxondale, but remembering Saxondale and the torment, I watched Saxondale, and the torment of Saxondale is that he never worked with Zeppelin, did he?
Yeah.
So I always go, did you work with Zeppelin? And this particular person had worked with The Firm, which is, Page. And I said, so compare it to, as good as Page? No. I mean, to me, that was as good a compliment as you could dream of. Nobody will ever be as good as Page then. So then another guy who actually I've only heard speak once. He works for us presently. And I said, what do you think? And he said, best guitar player I've ever heard. What the fuck is it with you?
I don't know.
Did you get? I'm reading this book called Outliers, and it talks about the 10,000 hour rule, and why the Beatles got so good. And this was with Pete Best, but that it was like this random series of events where a guy from the red light district in Hamburg, rock and roll was still until Brian Epstein. I'm still treated like Mike Tyson meets a porn star or something when it comes to my financial life. But the rest of my life is pretty damn fun. Carnies. We were treated a lot like carnies, and so to put a rock band in the red light district in Hamburg was a good idea. And the guy just happened to run into a Scouser. And so he started sending him Liverpudlian bands. The Beatles would play 8 hours a fucking night. So he's been playing since he was 4. And, Corgan came in here the other night. And the awesomeness of Billy's talent is amazing. The fact that he hasn't been able to apply it to himself. Samantha, which you just heard, that he wrote that riff. We arranged it. We made it, like, a lot better. But I think... I don't know if you listened to it 2.5 years ago, but the reason that I went to the UK was because you raise them in a different way. You raise them not to think about money before they strike a fucking string. And the minute you think about money before you strike look, the money will come. The money will go. The money will come. You know what I mean? Like, if we just, like, sort of let it go and my publishing, one person wrote a song and it may or may not make it, but I heard that he said, "This is my one chance." I was like, "Oh God, that's so LA," and it's just there's a real lack of corruption in the UK. Although, you do teach your bands to slam each other, and what's weird is that, like, Russell Brand can do all right over here and be obnoxious, and I think if Noel got his shit together at Fielding, he could do all right over here and throw TVs out a window. But Chris Martin has to be really polite to everybody. So the archetype British. Motherfucker. I think he's on his 7th Crazy Girl.
Something like that.
Yeah, well, I used to work across the bloody street.
They shouldn't put strip clubs next to recording studios.
Well, particularly, ones that... When I first saw Crazy Girls, I thought it said Crazy Girl, because that used to be a cafe.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to work there. It's Crazy Girl. But then the plural kind of ruined it. Plus, there's alcohol. So I worked around the corner in the day and at the 7th Vale. Same family. Charlie. They're all fucking named Charlie. And I will tell you something. Let me ask you this. When they strip over there, because I haven't been there for a while, is it still Pour Some Sugar on Me that's the moneymaker? Or do they dance to alternative now?
It's kind of varied. They play a lot of
because those girls have black hair and tats, right?
Yeah, but there's also the R&B girls as well. So it's either kind of Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, or
yeah, but you're not making lots of money there.
No.
You want to get your 20s because the whole Dita thing is like that. It's the journey, not the destination. I think stripping should be the destination. It's just me. When I was in England that time, like 2 years ago, I was not leaving without a full band. And Willie Burrell and Noel could not stand this one girl. And I thought, they can't stand her. She'll go down great. She'll go down a treat in the States. She didn't. She's really nice. She just didn't fit in at all. And, no, I liked her. I don't want to say her name. I thought, well, if these Londoners can't stand her in Arkansas, they'll love her. And why did I bring that up? Oh, because she'd stripped. And she started on that empowerment shit. I'm like, fuck off. Fucking do it for the fucking money. To get your fucking van. And you have to give it, Mikey said to give it to Grumpy Eric. And he put it in a bank account. And then we had a van. And then we could tour. So, I just didn't buy costumes and shit. And I never tried to dance like Jane says or something. You're not going to make any money. So over there they do, now it's 2009. Look, I'm a little out of it. Okay, I stripped in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm old. But I still, once you've been a stripper, it's Tuesday, you pass by the Vale, you think, I can make $300. It's amateur night. Like, there's a party. It's always going to be there. But I wonder I never had to strip in, like, Liverpool or something, but do they have strip clubs in Liverpool?
Yeah.
They do.
I think the weirdest strip club I ever went to was in Glasgow. No, it was in Edinburgh, in Scotland.
What? Was it like chicks with one arm?
Oh,
shit?
dude, it was weird.
Like what?
These birds were ropey.
Have you been to Cheetahs?
No.
Okay, Cheetahs is like, it's like a lot of unattractive women. Jumbo's is like...
Oh, that... I have been to Jumbo's.
Fucking, this is the thing. I put Jumbo's on the goddamn map, and I'm sick of not... It's like Portland. Give me my credit.